Hey there folks, Joshua Bardwell here. It's January 2021 and I need to record a new introduction for this budget build series. When I originally made this series, my goal was to take you through the entire build of this quadcopter from start to finish, and I did that. But we used analog video transmitter and analog camera because we figured that a lot of people, especially if this was their first build, were going to want to have the least expensive option possible. But a whole lot of you guys really want to use the DJI system because, let's face it, it's freaking awesome. So I'm about to update this build for the DJI Caddx Vista system, but there is a problem. I'm not going to go back and redo the entire build and re-record the entire thing just to then get to the point where we put the video transmitter in and put this one in instead. Instead, I'm going to leave you with the very first video, which includes all of the steps, including some steps that you're not going to do if you're using the Caddx Vista system. And then I'm going to record another video, and it is going to show you what you need to do differently if you're working with the Caddx Vista system. And that is going to mean it's going to be a little more complicated if you're using the Caddx system than just watch the videos and follow along. I'm going to try and make it as easy as it can be, but there you go. At this point, I would suggest that you start with the next video in this playlist, which goes through the build. And you're going to need to keep a couple things in mind. Number one, when we get to the point where you're soldering up the camera, you're not going to do that part. When we get to the point where you're soldering up the video transmitter, you're not going to do that part. And you may or may not do the part where you're soldering up the receiver. If you are using the DJI controller, then the DJI controller and the Caddx Vista are going to be your receiver. You will not need a separate receiver. But you also could be using a different controller that is not the DJI controller, in which case you will be installing a separate receiver. So you may or may not install your receiver. Go ahead through the entire build. Well, eventually you're going to get to the point where I say, and now you're done, and now it's time to fly it. And you won't be able to do that yet, because then you're going to go on to video number 2, where I'll show you how to install the Caddx Vista. And then after you've got that, you're going to go back to the first See, it'll be so much easier if YouTube would just let me kind of like insert something into a pre-existing video, but they don't. I have to make it a separate video. So there you go. I think you can do it. I hope you can do it. Good luck. Happy flying.